Well, hello there. Welcome to Live with Lynn. So today I want to talk about 6 sayings that might cause more harm than good. So if you're here, say hi. If you're watching the replay, be sure to type replay in the comments so we know you're here. I was trying to figure out what was I going to talk about today. And, the universe always provides, seems like no matter what. But so I was trying to figure out, and I got an email from Oprah. I love Oprah's emails. And this is an article that was written by, let me see, Amy Brill, and it's 6 sayings that are worth rethinking. So it's perfect for me to talk about today. So the first one, and these are just sayings that we've said and we've heard millions of times. We say them all the time. But and after reading it, I mean, it's really pretty profound. Maybe we shouldn't be saying these things. And so I'm going to give you a perspective today on exactly what you're saying and what you're not saying and how that might not be so helpful. So the first one, number 1, get over it. This line, and, we've also heard pull yourself together or buck up. They might feel like necessary tough love. But when you're recovering from some kind of a trauma, whether it's romantic, physical, or even career related, it's a deeply personal experience. And some people bounce right back and others require more time to process and heal. And so if the person that you're advising has some kind of an underlying condition like depression or something, which is invisible, right? We might not know that. And it also can be devastating. Some kind of advice like get over it is only going to make it worse. And so instead of dispensing this useless phrase, try listening more deeply when that person talks about the thing that he or she is trying to get over. That's pretty profound, right? How about this one? Number 2, people change. So, and I'm just reading this. It says, oh no, I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you, but that guy or girl who's been dancing around the maypole of commitment or fueling your insecurity for 8 years isn't going to suddenly walk through a magic wardrobe and come off as a different person. In general, people wave all their flags from the get-go, and they're easy for us to see if we're only willing to look. And yeah, that's absolutely true, right? People do change, but they change on their own terms and they change when they're ready. They don't change for what you want. And I think it was Marianne Williamson. It's one of my favorite quotes. Or no, it's, my mind just went blank. I'm sorry, my mind just went blank. But one of my favorite quotes is, when people tell you who they are, believe them. And how true is that? When I look back at all the times I've been hurt in my life by people, well, not all the times, but a lot of the times that I've been hurt by people, usually there was some indication in the beginning that they were that kind of a person or they were going to do something like that. So when people tell you who they are, believe them. Don't wait around for them to change, and don't stick with somebody that's hurting you hoping they'll change, because it's not going to happen. Okay, number 3, everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't have thought that would be hurtful, but it talks about it makes perfect sense here. It says, sure, some things, even some hard things, happen for a reason. And other things may happen for a reason that only becomes clear years or even decades later, right? You might not know what that reason was. You might never know, but sometimes there's no possible reason that we mortals can discern, and no person going through something like that wants to hear this phrase. The implication is that there's some kind of invisible logic that makes it okay that what happened to you should have happened to you. Nobody wants to hear that, right? That it's okay that it happened. If there's a reason, let her find it on her own at her own pace. And it sounds like we're helping people by saying that, but really when they're in the throes of pain, it's not helpful, because, there's a reason my husband died. What? So because God wanted to punish me? So, it makes sense, right? So that's another one. I'm going to be working on these. I'm going to be working on trying to get rid of these words from my vocabulary. Number 4, forgive and forget. So I'm all for compassion, and people make mistakes, but living by this model can compromise your integrity, not to mention your sanity. So you can forgive a friend's insensitivity, but it doesn't mean you should forget it. Recalling her clueless comments might prompt you to turn elsewhere for support when you're feeling vulnerable. So that makes sense, because if that person was insensitive to you before, they probably will be again. And so you might want to be careful what you say to them, You can forgive them, you can still love them, but you just need to know that that's not where you're going to go back to next time you need help, right? So if you're dealing with a repeat offenders, forgiveness includes not only giving up the hope that the past can be any different, that's what Oprah calls it. You know, that's what forgiveness is. It's not saying that what they did was okay. It's saying that you've given up all hope that the past could have been any different. It couldn't have been any different because it's over and done with. So you're forgiving them, not because your forgiveness can change it. It can't change it. But also, for repeat offenders, you have the permission to call it quits with a hurtful or vindictive relationship. So you can forgive them. You can say, I'm letting this go, because when you're holding that resentment, you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else. You're only hurting yourself. And so if you can forgive and let go, that's still, you can let go and be perfectly fine. You take that off of yourself. You no longer have to dwell in it or live in it, but you still don't have to be friends with that person. I think Oprah says you don't have to sit down to Thanksgiving dinner with them, right? It's so true, right? So forgive, but not necessarily forget, right? Okay, so number 5, you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince. No, you don't. Stop kissing frogs and do something productive, like reading a book or going to Greece or learning Mandarin. You can't control when you meet your prince or princess charming, but you can control your quality of life in the meantime. Do that. How true is that? I noticed that when I'm looking for, in the past when I've been single and I've been wanting to not be single, you know, the more that you don't want it and the more that you're looking for Mr. Right, the less you're going to find him. It's like I always find the right person when I'm not looking. So yeah, that's really good advice, you know. Control the quality of your life in the meantime and do that. Number 6, blood is thicker than water. Well, that might ring true for some people, but most of us don't live in a Game of Thrones episode. So family relationships are complicated, they're intense, and they're fraught. You should distance yourself from abusive or toxic relatives, or at least maintain strong boundaries to preserve your sanity. So instead of banging your head against the wall with your progenitors, siblings, or crazy cousins, keep your friends extra close and turn to them when the going gets tough. We call each other chosen family for a reason. That's so true. Our family has history. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. Some of us have skeletons in our closet that are better left in the closet or away from us. And so how true is that? Quit banging your head against the wall with the people in your family who aren't appreciating you or who don't believe the same as you do, and keep your friends extra close, because our chosen family sometimes can be more valuable to us than our blood family. That's pretty profound. So that's it. That's the 6 things that she says is worth rethinking. 6 sayings that she says is worth rethinking. So what are your thoughts? What do you think? I mean, how do you feel about any of these 6? I'd love to hear it. Get down below and tell me. And if you have another saying that should be maybe rethought, or we should drop from our vocabulary, that would be great too. Let us hear that, okay? So get below. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks for being here with me today. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day.